Shut up and sit down.
What's the story, internet? Hope everyone is having a wonderful day, wonderful Friday, end of the week, time for some more football. So before I get into the Sunday matches, there's no Monday matches this week, at least in the Premier League. But before I get into the Sunday matches, I just want to cut back to yesterday's video. A couple of matches that I forgot to mention the channels that they were going to be on. So I mentioned the Everton versus Manchester United, that was on Peacock. Crystal Palace versus Leeds, that is going to be on NBCSN. Chelsea versus Sheffield United, NBC. And West Ham versus Fulham, Peacock. So that out of the way, let's get into some big matches in the Serie A and one in the Bundesliga, and then let's get into the Premier League. Unfortunately, there's no real standout matches in La Liga this week. I mean, there's Valencia versus Real Madrid, but that's an old rivalry. It's not as important this year. In the Serie A, we have Lazio versus Juventus. Should be a highly entertaining match. I think Juventus is going to take this one. They're on a bit of a tear at the minute. Lazio's been succumbing to certain results in the Champions League. So they'll be feeling a bit worse for wear. They did beat Torino last week, 4-3 in an impressive result. But I still think Juventus and Cristiano Ronaldo and co are just going to be too strong for them. Especially with Alvaro Morata scoring 6 in his last 6 games. I can see him getting on the score sheet again. The other one I wanted to mention is Atalanta versus Inter Milan. Not necessarily a big match as in like a rivalry, but just the way that these two teams have been playing. And Atalanta will want to get revenge for that 5-0 thrashing that Liverpool gave them in the middle of the week. So I can see that being quite an interesting match. Because, like I said, they'll be wanting to get revenge. Inter Milan will want to sort of lick their wounds from what happened to them against Real Madrid, but at the same time, I think Atalanta's going to come out fighting, and I can very much see Alejandro Gomez being the difference maker here. Very, very high scoring in my prediction. I'm going to say maybe even a 4-3, 5-4, something like that. Right, and now onto a big match for the Bundesliga. We have Leverkusen versus Mönchengladbach. So this is a 4th place versus 5th place. Mönchengladbach are riding quite high at the minute. They beat Leipzig last week, so quite an impressive result for them. They've also been performing quite well in the Champions League. I mean, beating Shakhtar Donetsk 6-0 last week was very impressive for them. Let's just see out of interest how Leverkusen did in the Europa League. So they won 4-2. So both teams coming off quite a high at the moment. Mönchengladbach obviously beating Leipzig last week, and Leverkusen beating Freiburg 4-2. So I can see this being a very entertaining match, especially because the German table is so close at the minute. Mönchengladbach is only a point behind Leverkusen and only 3 points, 4 points, sorry, off the top of the table. So yeah, it should be quite an entertaining match. I can see this being a 3-2, 4-3, something like that. So those are the big matches around around Europe. On to Sunday's matches in the Premier League. So we have West Brom versus Tottenham Hotspur. Tottenham beating Brighton last time out. Gareth Bale getting his first goal in the Premier League since joining Spurs again. So he'll want to get out there and score more goals. West Brom succumbing to Fulham. So they'll probably find it difficult against Tottenham. However, Tottenham have been having a similar problem to Manchester United. They come up against teams that they should beat and they fall apart. So we'll have to see how they perform against West Brom. But I can see Tottenham winning this match, especially with Son, Kane, Bale, Lucas Moura. I mean, the players that you can name for Tottenham, they should be winning this match. Next match is Leicester versus Wolves. Should be an interesting match. Leicester won 4-1 against a very impressive Leeds side last week, and Wolves were able to beat Crystal Palace, stopping a run of form where they'd been losing, and then they finally drew against Newcastle and beat Leeds. So they've gone up on a little bit of an upward spike at the moment. I still think that they're going to find it hard against Leicester. Leicester are very impressive. They've still got Jamie Vardy, of course. So I'm going to go for a Leicester win here. I don't think it's going to be by much, maybe a 2-1, maybe a 3-1 at a stretch. Depends on if Jamie Vardy's got his shooting boots on. There is one more match, but I'm going to skip over that. You can already see it on there. That's the big match for the Premier League of the weekend. Arsenal versus Aston Villa. Arsenal with the win against Manchester United at Old Trafford last week, the first time in about 10 years. And then Aston Villa succumbing to Southampton in that 7-goal thriller. I think that Arsenal should be winning this match, especially after their performance in the Europa League where they won 4-1. But I still think that Aston Villa are going to come and take names, because I think they'll want to get back onto the winning form that they had before the Southampton match. So Arsenal needs to be careful to not do an Arsenal and fall apart and let Aston Villa come and rule them off of the Emirates. So I think it's going to be a very entertaining match, though. It's going to be who wants it more, in my opinion. And before we get into the last match, let's just go through some of the TV channels. So West Brom versus Spurs, Peacock. Leicester versus Wolves, NBCSN. Chelsea versus Sheffield United, NBCSN. And Arsenal versus West Ham on Peacock. And for some reason, it's not showing the big match. So I'm going to say that it's on a big channel because it's a big match. So I'm going to say it's NBC because it's not on here for some reason. So shame on worldsoccertalk.com for not having their act together. But so the big match is Manchester City versus Liverpool. So the two teams that have been battling it out the last couple of years. City won it in 2019. Liverpool winning it this year. So it will be interesting to see. Now, City aren't in a very good place at the minute. They're in 10th. Liverpool are sitting top of the table at the moment. So Liverpool will feel that they'll be the favourites in this game. However, if City can come out fighting and put it to Liverpool, I'm not saying they're going to do an Aston Villa, especially because Alisson is back now, but not having Virgil van Dijk, we'll see how much that hurts Liverpool. I don't think this is going to be a very high-scoring match. I think it's going to be a very even sort of grudge match. I think one chance is going to be all it takes to spin this on its head. Whether that leads to it being a high-scoring game or whether that's the only chance of the game. But there's going to be something that sparks the rest of this game. So I'm going to say, hopefully, even though they're my rivals as well, that City win this one. Just especially to make it more interesting. I mean, the table is very close at the minute. I mean, if you look from City to Liverpool, there's 5 points. So from 10th to 1st, there's 5 points. So, but it should be a heavily entertaining weekend. Yeah, I hope everyone's ready for this final weekend of league football before we head into the unknown waters of the international break. And I will be back with you on Sunday for a preview of said international break and a review of the weekend's football. So I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. Hope you're all staying safe, keeping out of trouble. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Ta-ra for now.